So Deontay Wilder, his words, not mine, he said that this event between himself and Tyson Fury will sell out on the gate, so 21,000 will sell, and it will do 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, so this is the kind of delusions that this guy is. So already he's failing on a large scale. Now, as far as pay-per-view buys go, we don't know yet. If he's going to do 2.5 million, hey, big props. But let's look at the ticket sales. Now, I did a previous video there. A lot of you guys would have already seen it. Now, of course, what I didn't realise at the time was certain things. Okay, I realised after. So I want to correct them in this video, which is actually worse. Okay, and a lot of people now, the Wilder fans, are going to go, no, stop it, Sporting Icons, please stop exposing, we don't like hearing it, so please stop doing it. No, I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because you guys found it funny that Joshua sold 83,000 out of 90,000, and that was considered a failure, even though those 7,000 that didn't sell were all coach packages. People don't buy coach packages, and the reason that people don't buy coach packages is because people want to make their own way to the arena and leave when they want to leave, not go with a bunch of people that they don't know. And the reason that there were so many coach packages is because Wembley did that. The council did that. They didn't want traffic congestion. So anyway, when I looked at the ticket sales, of course, I was looking at StubHub. Hey Frank, how's it going? Are you enjoying StubHub, yeah? Yeah, of course you are. Now, I looked on it as the 21,000 capacity, and there were so many tickets unsold just based on StubHub, not based on Ticketmaster or any other place. I just looked at StubHub, and it looked like about 30% or so were not sold. So I'm thinking, okay, so 15,000 have sold, about 6,000 have not been sold, which is terrible after 1 month. There's still 1 month left to go, okay, granted. But I do know a lot of people say, but in America, we buy tickets on the day or a couple of days before. Why? That's just pathetic. That's just stupid. And it's a poor excuse, is what it is. So anyway, I was wrong about this with 30% left, because I thought 15,000 were sold, thereabouts, 6,000 still to sell, which is terrible, absolutely terrible for 21,000. 21,000 is pathetic for a so-called biggest fight in heavyweight boxing today. Some have even said biggest fight in heavyweight history, and whatever else it may be. There isn't another fight bigger. And America is the place to come and make your money, all this kind of thing. So anyway, a few people corrected me on this one, and they directed me in the direction of the Boxing Boys. Ness, he had some guy on there who's a professional ticket seller. Okay, here in the UK, we call them ticket touts. In other words, they buy tickets and then they resell them to make some money. Okay, so this guy's been doing it for 20 years. But yet he's saying that this event is quite successful because they've only released 12,000. That means 9,000 they have not released yet at this stage. Now, this is normal procedure, okay? All boxing events, all sporting events, okay? They release a certain amount. Once they sell, they release some more, then some more, then some more, hopefully leading to full capacity. So Team Wilder, Team Fury will want 21,000. That's the goal. It always was. Okay, so when this guy's saying that on the gate, come fight night, it would probably have made 10 million on the gate. $10 million on the gate, which is successful, which is good, is what he says. 10 million on the gate. Yet Joshua does 10 million pounds, not dollars, but 10 million pounds in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Imagine what he sells come fight night. But yet Wilder versus Fury, just on the gate, even though it's smaller, is going to do better than what Joshua does at Wembley. I'm going to use my words I'm becoming quite famous for now. Have a word with yourself. So already, just this little bit here shows that the so-called biggest fight in boxing history can't even outdo on the gate what Joshua Povetkin done for this so-called failed event of only 83,000. So anyway, this professional ticket tout, he said that, and they only released 12,000. So what they do is they sell around the ring, all that kind of thing, and they build outwards. Why? Because the camera, it looks better on TV. The cameras will be positioned just around the ring. So when you look on TV, you think, oh, that looks pretty good. So it looks like this, okay? But in reality, if you turn the lights on and move the camera back, this is what it really looks like. Not good, is it? But yet people say, well, it's because boxing's not popping in America. Basketball, football, baseball, WWE, MMA, UFC, whatever you want to call it, is higher priority sports. Well, you guys have allowed UFC, a new sport, to overtake boxing. That's been around for forever. You guys have allowed that. Why? Because you don't have the stars anymore. Mike Tyson used to sell out. Lennox Lewis, a Brit, used to sell out. Muhammad Ali used to sell out. But Wilder can't. Wilder's not a name. He's very, very clear. Anyway, this boxing tout, he says, or sorry, this ticket tout, he says that so far this event has sold 7,000. And what does Ness say? He says, well, that's not too bad considering it's only 12,000. So it's only 5,000 away from sellout. Either he's stupid or he thinks people who's listening are stupid to believe that. It's not 5,000 away from sellout. It's 14,000 away from sellout. 21,000 is sellout. This is only stage one. This is phase one. 12,000 tickets is phase one. And it's not even going to get past phase one. Again, this ticket tout, who's been doing this for 20 years, his very first one was Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, the rematch. And he's been doing this kind of thing ever since. So he knows, and he's a big supporter of Wilder, and he's considering this a success, which is worrying. If this is considered a success, it's worrying. 7,000 tickets is worrying. Even selling the 12,000 is worrying. $10 million on the gate, that is worrying for the so-called biggest fight in boxing. It's disgusting. And yet Wilder wants 60%. Maybe 50% if he's generous for the fans, is what he says. Just based on these sales alone. He shouldn't even get 20% with Joshua. Not even 20%. It's absolutely disgusting, is what it is. 7,000 after 1 month. And a lot of those will be down to Tyson Fury. Got nothing to do with Wilder. Wilder is not a name. He's that guy you walk past on the street and think, damn, he's tall, and don't know who he is. He's that annoying kid in class who's always looking for attention and people just turn their head like, don't make eye contact, otherwise he can come hang with us. He's unwanted in his own country. He's unknown. He's unliked. People are not interested. 7,000 ticket sales is terrible. It's absolutely awful. Awful. And people want to defend it. Ness wants to come out and say that British fans don't know what they're talking about. Really? Because we don't understand the US market. Not too much to understand, really. People are lazy to go to the event. For the so-called best fighter in the world, the most dangerous man on the planet, they sit there online behind their computers talking about how great he is, yet they can't be bothered to go to the damn event. But it's Los Angeles. I live in Baltimore. I live in Wisconsin. I live here and I live there. Yeah, people live here in Britain and are going to this event. What excuse do you have? You guys have inner city flights that are cheap. It's not difficult to get to Los Angeles. You can hire a camper van and go on a road trip with your mates. But the tickets are so expensive. It's ridiculous. Again, you see, that was touched on as well. So when the tickets were first released over a month ago, they were set at a certain price and they were selling quite well. Team Wilder got greedy and decided to rip off the fans. And they tripled the prices. They sky-highed them. People were like, I ain't paying that. No chance am I paying that. I ain't doing it. They went, oh crap, we've just ruined an entire event here. Let's drop the prices back down again. And people are like, no, you tried to rip us off. Now I'm not interested. I don't care if you sell them for 20 bucks. I ain't going. You tried to rip us off. Besides that, people know, just looking at it, this is a mismatch. Tyson Fury, he's been out in the ring for far too long. People ain't stupid. People don't believe the Wilder fanboy channels. People just don't believe you. It's as simple as that. You can say this is the biggest fight. This is WBC versus lineal. No, he's lineal because he hasn't had a fight in 3 years. And I'm a supporter of Tyson Fury. He's a fellow Brit. And I hope he smashes Wilder to smithereens. I hope he hits him so hard, Wilder's legs buckle. And we never see that clown in a ring again. He's a racist hater, is what he is. After all the crap that he says about British fans and Anthony Joshua and Dylan White and Eddie Hearn and all this kind of thing, and all you guys following along, You guys are bad for boxing. Wilder needs to leave boxing. And hopefully Tyson Fury is the man to do it. Unfortunately, I don't think he is at this stage. 12 months down the line, maybe. Maybe. But even now, even at this stage, and I do support Tyson Fury, even at this stage, he's still got a chance, which is worrying if you're a Wilder fan. But you know what? We can break down the fight as it gets closer. As I said, I'm Team Fury, and I hope that he does the business. But 7,000 is terrible. And Ness, stop lying to people. Stop lying. Only 5,000 away from sellout. No, it's not. It's 14,000 away from sellout. This is phase 1. Your boy can't even get past phase 1. Regardless of the ticket prices. Doesn't matter how much the ticket prices are. If you support them, you will go. And there's so many channels out there who will be talking about this fight, saying, oh, this is the greatest fight ever, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're not going because they're lazy. But yet Brits are going to be travelling, but yet you can't. Rightio, okay. No, because what's more important to you is to sit behind your computer, do a post-fight review to get a few more subs and a few views. That's more important to you than your guy. And your guy is going to notice this one. Don't think after this fight he's not going to be looking around at his so-called fan channels and saying, okay, which one of you guys sat at home and didn't turn up to my event? And I know this one because you did a post-fight review on it. And if you did a post-fight review, that means, what? You're going to tell me that you bought the pay-per-view? How do I know you didn't illegally stream it? Don't think he isn't going to do that. Don't think he's that much of a narcissist. That's what he will do. He's a natural hater. He was born a hater. When Deontay Wilder was born, the doctor smacked his mum and said, you've got a beautiful baby boy, but you've just given birth to a hater. Because that's what he is. He's a jealous hater. And he will look online to see who is doing post-fight reviews, thinking, you didn't turn up to my event. That's why when I looked around, I could see half the arena empty, because you didn't turn up. Because views were more important to you than supporting me. Trust me, he's going to do it. Trust me, he's going to do it. But anyway, 7,000 after a month is disgusting. Even if it did 12,000 by the night, that is still 9,000 short. That is less than what Wilder done against Ortiz. This fight should have been done in the UK. Why? Because Tyson Fury has a fan base here in the UK. He could have sold out the Manchester Arena, for example. He could have sold that out. Why? It looks better on TV. It may have been round about the same kind of money. There in Los Angeles, selling 12,000 to selling 20 to 22,000 in Manchester will be round about the same kind of money. But it looks better. At least then Wilder can turn around Joshua and say, well, I sold out my arena. People turned up because people want to see me. But no, Eddie Hearn and Joshua's now got ammunition and go, but it wasn't even half sold out. For the so-called baddest man on the planet, for the so-called heavyweight WBC champion versus lineal champion, and you didn't even do half. No, you ain't getting a good percentage at all. And the only way that Wilder can have any kind of saving grace is by doing a minimum 1 million pay-per-view buys. Bearing in mind, he said 2.5 million. So asking him to do 1 million pay-per-view buys is not unreasonable. But of course, people love a bargain. People look at it and think, well, why do I want to spend $80 on this one fight for a complete gash undercard? Some good fighters on there. Joe Joyce, Luis Ortiz, etc. Jarrett Hurd. But who are they fighting? People that people have no interest in watching them fight. Much like the Charlos. This is a PBC thing. Okay? Don't want to do good undercards. Well, here in America, we don't do undercards. You guys have always got a damn excuse. Maybe that's why boxing's failing. Who doesn't want to watch a good undercard? Of course you do. Everybody does. Just stop lying. Stop lying to your subs. Okay? Stop it. You can get to the event. Go to the event. Set it out. But we only do it last minute. That's just ridiculous. Again, another pathetic excuse. This is why it won't sell out. Because they're not going to release more than 12,000. If they don't sell 12,000 before fight night, guess what? They're not going to release more. Which means this event isn't going to do more than 12,000. which means on the gate, it isn't going to do more than 10 million, as his ticket tout said. Who's a big Deontay Wilder fan and knows what he's talking about? 10 million on the gate, which is pathetic for the so-called biggest fight in heavyweight boxing right now. You have no excuses. 7,000 is far worse than what I thought it was. This is half of what I thought was sold originally. I'm on the previous video. As I said, I thought maybe 15,000 was sold, but only 7,000 sold. That is disgusting. This shows the value of Wilder is zero in comparison to Joshua. And it's not about being Joshua's accountant at all. It's not about that, as Ness would call it. Because you guys were advising Wilder to go take the Dillian Whyte fight, Ness was, for $8 million. Being his accountant, right? Saying that Wilder shouldn't take $15 million. $15 million. What other boxers outside Joshua and Canelo are earning $15 million for a guy who hasn't even hit $2 million before and offered 15? And he turned it down, yet Joshua's ducking, right? Man, you guys have got all the excuses in the book. When are you guys going to wake up and actually admit that you have chose the wrong side? You've backed the wrong king. Instead, you backed a jester, is what you've done. People don't want Wilder. He's unwanted. He's unliked. He's not respected in his own country. Otherwise, Los Angeles would have sold out. If the LA Lakers can sell it out, Wilder should be able to sell it out, surely. Heavyweight. WBC versus lineal, correct? Should have sold out by now. Never mind, only 7,000. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Anyway, I've waffled on long enough. Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.